Bugungi darsimizda siz bilan Cambridge 16 test 2 part 3 analizini ko'rib chiqamiz. Sizlarning ko'rganingizdek questions 21 to 30 and questions 21 to 24 bu qismda multiple choice savollari ekan. Assignment on sleep and dreams degan qismda uyqu va tush bo'yicha vazifa assignment haqida gap ketar ekan. O'z ko'rganingizdek Luke read that one reason why we often forget dreams is that Luke o'qigan ekan. Biza forget dreams, ya'ni tushlarni unutib qo'yishimizni bitta sababi bu our memories cannot cope with too much information. Bu bizani miyamiz, bizani qisqasi xotirlarimiz ko'p informatsiya bilan cannot cope qilolmaydi. Otherwise we confuse what's real, demak shunda nima real bo'lmasa bo'lmaganligi haqida confuse bo'lib qolardik. We don't think they are important. Demak muhim deb hisoblamaymiz. Why do Luke agree about dreams predicting future? Demak shunda tushlarni kelajakni predict qilib berish haqida Luke bilan so'zini agree qiladigan, ya'ni bir-biriga qo'shiladigan joyini topish kerak. It might be just due to chance. Demak bu просто shans, bunaqa hech qanaqa narsa yo'q, ahamiyati yo'q. Only happens with certain types of events. Ba'zi bir turdagi eventlar bilan bo'ladi faqatgina. It happens more than some people think. Odamlar o'ylagandan ko'proq sodir bo'ladi. Susie says that study on preschool children having a short nap in the day. Demak shunda preschool children, ya'ni maktabgacha yoshdagi bolalarni short nap, demak kun davomida qisqa uxlab olishi haqida nima derkan? Had controversial results. Demak bir-biriga qarshi rezultatlar chiqargan ekan. Faulty research methodology. Demak shunda xato research metodologiyasini ishlatgan ekan. Failed to reach any clear conclusion. Demak shunda hech qanaqa to'g'ri conclusion, xulosalar chiqarmagan ekan. Ochiq oydin xulosalar chiqarmagan ekan. In their last assignment, both students had problems with. Demak shunda o'zini oxirgi vazifasida ikkala student ham, ikkalasi ham keyword bo'lish kerak, chunki statistika menda bu problema bo'lmadi, menda problema bo'ldi, ikkalamiz ham menda problema bo'ldi degan gap bo'ladi. Both bu qismda keyword, ikkalasi ham. Statistical analysis, statistik analiz, making an action plan bo'yicha self assessmentda muammolari bo'lgan ekan. Endi keling, audioni eshitamiz, savollarga javob berishga harakat qilamiz.
Ielts 16.
Boshlaymiz.
Test 2. The test is in 4 parts. At the end of the test, you will be given
Partslar kerak bizga.
We'll ask pupils room in our memories for all that stuff.
21 to 24.
Boshladik. 21 to 24 deyishdi. O'qishga vaqt berish shekilli hozir.
So, Luke.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
Boshladik.
So, Luke, for our next psychology assignment, we have to do something on sleep and dreams.
Right. I've just read an article suggesting why we tend to forget most of our dreams soon after we wake up. I mean, most of my dreams aren't that interesting anyway. But what it said was that if we remembered everything, we might get mixed up about what actually happened and what we dreamed. So it's a sort of protection. I hadn't heard that idea before. I'd always assumed that it was just that we didn't have room in our memories for all that stuff.
Me too. What do you think?
O'z ko'rganingizdek, Luke read qildim dedi. Mani dreamlarim muhim emas-ku, lekin men o'qidim, shunaqa ekan dedi. Qisqasi chiqib ketdi. Mixed up bo'lishimiz mumkin agar dreamlarimizni eslab qoladigan bo'lsak, nima realnost, nima haqiqat, nima o'zi tushda bo'lgan narsalar haqida chalkashib qolishimiz mumkin, confuse bo'lib qolishimiz mumkin. Shuning uchun ham unutib o'rarkanmiz dedi. Javob B bo'ldi. Men o'ylardimki, bu juda ham ko'p informatsiya bizani xotiramiz yetmaydi, yetarlicha bunaqa masda yo'q deb o'ylardim, lekin unaqa emas ekan dedi. Suzy ham I also thought so. Most of my dreams aren't interesting anyway, but it said that if we remember everything, we might get mixed up with confusion synonym about what actually happened and what we dreamed. Nima bo'lgan, nima bo'lmagan, o'sha haqida chalkashib qolishimiz mumkin. I hadn't heard that idea before. Bu haqida eshitmaganman. I had always assumed that it was just we didn't have enough room. O'shanaqa o'ylardim oldin. Chiqib ketdi. Me too dedi. Javob 21 javob B, 22 o'tamiz.
Think about the idea that our dreams may predict the future.
It's a belief that you get all over the world.
Yeah. Lots of people have a story of it happening to them, but the explanation I've read is that for each dream that comes true, we have thousands that don't, but we don't notice those. We don't even remember them. We just remember the ones where something in the real world, like a view or an action, happens to trigger a dream memory.
Right. So it's just a coincidence, really.
It's just a coincidence really dedi. Bu coincidence degani o'tda просто nima degan coincidence? Coincidence nima degani? Bilmayman, coincidence degan so'zni topib olasizlar. Bilmayman, to'g'risi. O'zbekchasi ham, ruschasi ham kelmadi hozir. Coincidence qisqasi. O'qiymiz. I've read that for each dream that comes true, we have thousands of that we don't notice those, we don't remember them, we just remember the ones in the real world. So it's just a coincidence really, right? dedi qisqasi. Ikkalasi ham rozi bo'ldi. Chance bo'lganligiga, просто chance bo'lib qolganligiga. To'g'risi o'zbek tilida tushuntirib beraman, rus tilida ham tushuntirib beraman. Просто hozir miyam ishlamay qoldi. Ana shu qismni o'qiysizlarda javoblarni topib olasizlar o'zing. Bo'ldi.
Something else I read about is what they call segmented sleeping. That's a theory that hundreds of years ago, people used to get up in the middle of the night and have a chat or something to eat, then go back to bed. So I tried it myself.
Why?
Well, it's meant to make you more creative. I don't know why, but I gave it up after a week. It just didn't fit in with my lifestyle.
But most preschool children have a short sleep in the day, don't they? There was an experiment some students did here last term to see at what age kids should stop having naps, but they didn't really find an answer. They spent a lot of time working out the most appropriate methodology, but the results didn't seem to show any obvious patterns.
Right.
Results didn't seem to show any obvious patterns degani rezultatlari to'g'ri, aniq, clear bo'lmagan edi. Methodology muammo bo'lmagan, methodology vafshi zo'rini ishlatgan edi. Qani. Hope most preschool children have a short sleep. There was an experiment some students did last term. They didn't really find an answer. Javob topolmagan. DC bo'ldi. They spent a lot of time working out the most appropriate methodology. Yaxshi metodologiyaga ishlatgan, bechib ketdi. But the results didn't seem to show any obvious patterns. Demoqchimda rezultatlar hech narsani ko'rsatmagan. Javob C bo'ladi.
Anyway, let's think about our assignment. Last time I had problems with the final stage, where we had to describe and justify how successful we thought we'd been. I struggled a bit with the action plan too.
I was okay with the planning, but I got marked down for the self-assessment as well. And I had big problems with the statistical stuff. That's where I really lost marks.
O'z ko'rganingizda looks etdi, self assessmentda qiynaldim, action planda qiynaldim. Action plan normalniy bo'ldi dedi menda so'zida. Self assessmentdan men ham qiynaldim dedi. Statistikani analizda qiynaldim dedi. AB chiqib ketdi, javob C bo'ldi ikkalasiga ham. Chunki shuning uchun ham men aytgandim, both keyword bo'ladi deganim, both keyword bo'ldi. Anyway, let's think about our assignment. I had problems with final stage. We had to describe and justify how successful we thought we had been. Demak, o'zini assess qilish haqida ma'lumot ketdi. I struggled a bit with the action plan too. Action plan chiqib ketdi. I was okay with planning dedi, chunki I could mark down on self assessment as well. Demoqchimda self assessmentda menda ham muammo bo'ldi dedi. Shuning uchun ham javob C bo'ldi. Statistical stuffda menda muammo bo'ldi, lekin Luke'da muammo bo'lmaganligi sababli javob prosta C bo'ladi. Keyingi qismga o'tamiz. Assignment plan, bu qismda o'z ko'rganingizdek, filling the table, one word only, faqatgina bitta so'z yozishimiz kerak. Assignment plan demak qismda vazifa plani. Decide on the research question, is the relationship between hours of sleep and numbers of dreams. Decide on sample, 12 students from the department. Qanaqadir departmentdan olar ekan. Economy department, history department, psychology department, science department, maths department, qanaqadir fan departamentidan olar ekan, qanaqadir fan bo'ladi. Decide on methodology, self-reporting, decide on procedure, answers on about bo'lish kerak endi bu qismda. About something bo'lsa kerak-da qisqasi. Check ethical guidelines for working with, kim bilandir yoki nima bilandir ishlash bo'yicha ethical guideline, working with people bo'lishi mumkin, masalan odamlar bilan ishlash bo'yicha ethical guidelinelarni ko'rib chiq. Ensure that risk is assessed and is kept to minimum. Demoqchimda riskni assess qilinglar, baholanglar, nimadirni minimum saqlab turishga harakat qilinglar dedi, bilmayman nimadir danger bo'lishi mumkin. Analyze the results, calculate the correlation, make a something. Correlationni calculate qilib nimadir yozishimiz kerak ekan. The research. Endi research nimadir qilish kerak bo'lsa, u yerda give the research, write the research, speak the research, present the research qisqasi fe'l bo'ladi bu. Boshlaymiz.
Right.
Listen and answer questions 25 to 30.
Let's go.
So, shall we plan what we have to do for this assignment?
Okay.
Okay.
First, we have to decide on our research question. So, how about, is there a relationship between hours of sleep and number of dreams?
Okay. Then we need to think about who we'll do the study on. About 12 people?
Right. And shall we use other psychology students?
Let's use people from a different department. What about history?
Yes, they might have interesting dreams. Or literature students.
I don't really know any.
Okay, forget that idea.
O'z ko'rganingizdek, o'zimizni psixologiya departamentdan boshqa odamdan olamizmi? Historyni ishlata qolaylik dedi. Historyda yaxshi dreamlar bo'lishi mumkin dedi. Qiziqarli dreamlar bo'lishi mumkin dedi. Yoki literaturedan olaylik dedi. Va literaturada tanishlarmi yo'q, mayli, forget dedi. Qisqasi. We need to think about who will do the study on. 12 people. Shall we use psychology students? Let's use people from different departments. What about history? Yes, they might have interesting dreams. Or literature students. Oh, I don't really know any. Such job history bo'ldi.
Then we have to think about our methodology. So we could use observation, but that doesn't seem appropriate.
No. It needs to be self-reporting, I think. And we could ask them to answer questions online.
But in this case, paper might be better, as they'll be doing it straight after they wake up. In fact, while they're still half asleep.
Right.
O'z ko'rganingizdek, onlayn qilsa bo'ladi yoki paperda yoza qolgani yaxshi. Answer on paper dedi, chunki half asleep vaqtda javob turganidan yozayotgan bo'ladi dedi. O'shuning uchun ham paper, answers on paper, qog'ozda yozar ekan. Hop, and in case paper, no, it needs to be self-reporting, and we could ask them to answer questions online. But in this case, paper might be better, as they will be doing straight after they wake up, or in fact while they're still half asleep. Job paper.
And we'll have to check the ethical guidelines for this sort of research.
Because our experiment involves humans, so there are special regulations.
So our research involves humans, so there are special regulations. Humans, working with humans. People dedim, baribir umumiy jihatdan teoriya to'g'ri, odamlar-ku, human ham odam, people ham odam, lekin javob humans bo'ldi. Right, we have to check the ethical guidelines for this sort of research because our experiment involves humans, so there are special regulations. Jawab, humans.
Yes. I had a look at those for another assignment I did. There's a whole section on risk assessment and another section on making sure they aren't put under any unnecessary stress.
Let's hope they don't have any bad dreams.
O'z ko'rganda stress, danger deganim o'shanga negativ so'z, qanaqadir narsada stress is kept to a minimum. O'zining ko'rganingdek risklarni assess qilish kerak, stressni minimum qilish kerak. I had to look at those for another assignment. There's a whole section on risk assessment and another section on making sure they aren't put under any unnecessary stress. Let's hope they don't have any bad dreams. Qisqasi, stressni minimumda ushlab turish kerak degan gap bo'ldi.
Yeah.
Then, when we've collected all our data, we have to analyze it and calculate the correlation between our two variables. That's time sleeping and number of dreams. And then present our results visually in a graph.
Right, and
present our results visually in a graph degani, make a graph degani. Graph yaratishimiz kerak dedi. Graph yaratishimiz kerak dedi. Hop, qisqasi mana that's time sleeping and number of dreams, and then present our results visually in a graph bo'ldi javob. Keyingiga o'tamiz.
The final thing is to think about our research and evaluate it. So that seems quite straightforward.
Research and evaluate it dedi javob. Evaluate bo'ladi. Evaluate. Demak, evaluate degani baholash degani. O'zini researchni o'zi baholar ekan. And the final thing is to think about our research and evaluate it. Javob evaluate.
Yeah. So now let's get...
Xo'p, shu bilan bugungi darsimiz o'z nihoyasiga yetadi. Hamma savollarga javoblarni circle qildim, ya'ni aylanaga oldim. Unga qo'shimcha yordam beruvchi javoblarni esa underline qilishga harakat qildim. Agar muammo bo'ladigan bo'lsa, faqatgina vocab yodlash maslahat beraman. Biror narsani tushunmadinglarmi? Bu demak vocabularylar yetishmaydi, vocabularylar yetarli emas. Vocab yodlanglar, baraka topib ketasizlar. Vocab yodlamanglar, o'zingizning levellaringiz 20 mi, 25 mi, 10 mi, 15 mi, o'sha levelda qotib qolaverasizlar. Bu listenni davosi vocab hisoblanadi. Shuning uchun men boshqa komment bermayman sizlarga. Agar juda katta muammo bo'lib ketadigan bo'lsa, kommentlarda qoldiringlar. Asosan vocablarni yodlanglar va bu skriptlarga e'tibor beringlar, chunki hammasini to'g'rilab underline qildik. Kerakli qismlarni keyingi darsda ko'rishguncha bye bye.